Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase, pricing, and availability questions concerning this watch. Today, we discuss a 500-piece limited edition in platinum launched in 2000, celebrating 10 years of the revived Lange Sohne. This is the Langematic Anniversary. The watch is beautifully executed, 37 millimeters in diameter. It's thin at 8.7 millimeters thick, from lug tip to lug tip, 44 millimeters with a 19 millimeter spacing between the lugs. The watch wears nicely on my wrist. You might be surprised to hear that I called Lange 10 years old in 2000, but it's true. Like Blancpain and Moser, it is a revival brand, a dead brand brought back in the modern era, but it's accomplished a lot in a short period of time. In fact, you can see my Moser pin buckle off to the side there. The watch is easy to wear. I would recommend it for a wrist as small as 13.5 centimeters circumference because it's thin and so short lug to lug. Over the top, which exaggerates the width of the watch, you can still see how far inboard the edge of my wrist the lugs are, and it's super thin, so as a dress watch, it'll easily slide under a cuff. But as a platinum watch, it has a significant weight that's gratifying. Pin buckle. It is in platinum to match the watch, and so we've got this elevated bridge, which is one quality of the Lange pin buckle, so that the strap sits in the buckle rather than stacking up underneath it, and then a retaining bar, so if you're using the smallest hole or punching a smaller one, you know a tightly strapped strap can get stuck on the wrist. This one won't because of that retaining bar. The strap can't sink all the way down to the base of the pin because of that bar. The case is typically Lange, so we've got the step lugs, originally proposed by company co-founder Gunter Blumlein, but we have a satin-finished mid-case, which not every Lange case has, so we've got that nice contrast between polish and satin. You can also see that the case back is sort of stepped back, so when it's actually on the wrist, it does look thinner than its measurement, so it almost looks like a 6, maybe 6.5 millimeter thick watch. We have a Lange branded crown, which I have to say looks considerably warmer in tone than the case. Lange might be using white gold crowns on these. The bezel is vertical and then it's domed. Then we have a Grand Faux enamel dial, and it is white enamel on, I believe, a sterling silver dial base. That's how Lange has done enamel, even back to this point when Lange wasn't doing its enamel in-house. I believe that's how their supplier did it. The red Roman numeral 12, a callback to historic and historically significant East German pocket watches of a certain grade. This is a Langematic Anniversary, which means it is automatic winding, and the caliber, the saxomat that's inside, has 0 reset hacking seconds, which recenters on 60, so you can more easily set the watch to a reference time. We have a chemin de fer outboard, or a railroad track, for reading the minutes, and at center, these lovely fired blue alpha-style hands with radially arrayed Roman numerals, including a watchmaker's 4, and this is likely a 2-disc dial, because it's very difficult to create depth or cut an enamel dial, so this is probably a smaller disc inset. Taking a look at the case back, the saxomat. Now, it's sort of a 3/4 rotor, but it gives you the same thin profile advantages and open display case back that you get with a conventional micro rotor. Just being a slightly larger diameter, it winds a bit more efficiently. So here we have the rotor, which is both gold and platinum. So you can see the rotor itself, which features no fewer than 3 individual decorations. It is 21 karat gold. It is fixed to a platinum winding mass by fired blued screws. And you can see we have both polished screws and fired blued screws. It's the best of both worlds. The bridges and plates are German silver, a nickel copper zinc alloy that was used on pocket watches historically, so Lange wanted to make that a signature of its modern watches to unify the modern image with its history. Also, the freehand engraving of the balance cock is a distinctive feature that recalls East German watchmaking history. We have a mirror-polished and beveled steel swan's neck fine adjustment mechanism, a polished ratchet wheel atop the barrel, a polished bearing center. We have snailing underneath the rotor along with concentric engine turning also present on the base plate, mirror finish on the cap to the escape wheel, and notice that there is an interior angle where that bevel converges in a sharp crease. Very difficult to do. Automatic winding. It pivots on 4 ball bearings, and you know that because it says so right there, for particularly smooth and efficient rotor action. 36 jewels, and all of it is adjusted in a high horology standard 5 positions. You can also see that we have a decorated subordinate bridge underneath the balance cock For the escapement, which features beveling and snailing, they overlook nothing. And we also have anglage, although I'm sure the Germans don't call it that, mirrored beveling on the edge of the bridges, and streifen, or stripes, across the bridges. Again, they're not Geneva waves, because we're not in Switzerland. And then all of this water-resistant down to 30 meters, and once again, automatic winding with a 3 hertz beat rate and a 46-hour power reserve. This is a hard watch to not love. In fact, if you don't love this watch, I have to ask whether you even like watches. So reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.